You're listening to She's the Business podcast. Do you know which parts of your finances you should be looking at or tracking in order to have a really good strategy for growth in your business? Now, as somebody who's quite creative, the finances are definitely not my area of specialty or my strong suit. It's not what I love to look at every day. And that's why when I'm looking at my business strategy, I've certainly taken the time to get the right experts on board to advise me on what I need to be looking at in order to grow. It's not what you might think. It's not about just cutting expenses and increasing income. Like that is, I guess, business 101. But often when we're looking at expenses, we're looking at them in the wrong way. We're not really looking at them in the way of an entrepreneur. And that's why I think you'll find a lot of interesting insights in this episode that I'm about to bring you today. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. My guest today is Claudia Harley, and she's a qualified accountant and bookkeeper, and also the founder of Bookkeeping for Wealth, which is actually her 3rd business. Some of you may know of her because I've shared her story quite a few times. She is one of my Business Jam alumni from the year of 2020, where she joined Business Jam right at the time she was kicking off her brand new business as a bookkeeper. Although she'd worked in bookkeeping for over 20 years in the corporate space, going into business for herself as a bookkeeper was a different kettle of fish for her. And while it was her 3rd business, she'd run successful online product-based businesses before, but it was a new experience for her coming into a service business. So I've now brought her on the podcast to talk to you about the sort of metrics that you need to be looking at in your business when you're looking at your growth strategy. And this is exactly her specialty. She's a bookkeeper that combines not only bookkeeping and good financial health practices, around keeping track of what it is that you're doing and forecasting, but also around your money mindset. Because traditionally bookkeepers, and I hope I'm not going to ruffle any feathers here, but a lot of bookkeepers look at the numbers as a number. They're either in an income column or an expense column. They're one or the other. Whereas Claudia and I both have a slightly different view on how we should be looking at these numbers, particularly with expenses. Some expenses are money spent. Some expenses are investments in growth. And there's a really, really important difference in this. And that's why I encourage you to stay with us. I'm about to play the interview with you, and Claudia is going to share with you exactly what that difference is, how to recognize it, and then how to leverage this information for your own business so that you can be more successful, more profitable, and have a better growth strategy this year. So welcome. I'm Jessica Osborne, and I'm here today with Claudia Harley, who is the founder of Bookkeeping for Wealth. We are going to have a chat, and Claudia is going to share some of her tips about, I guess, better financial management, which definitely for me is an area that I would love to know more about, because it's not my natural place to be in the finances. I kind of keep everything running along smoothly, but there's certainly a lot that I don't know about, where I could find those little gems and how I could leverage my business further. So I'm really interested to have a chat to Claudia today and learn a bit more
about what she does and some of those tips that we could all implement into our businesses. So welcome, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me. Do you want to say hi and then tell us a bit about your business? You can tell us what you do and then how you got started as well.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for having me. It is lovely to speak to you, as always. Yeah, my business, what I run a bookkeeping business and analysis. I focus more on the analysis in a way to identify savings and opportunities, maximizing profits and improving cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite new, this business. I started it in November last year.
Yes, it's really new. Yeah, and you were building or creating your strategy, I guess, when you joined me in Business Jam, and it's been great to see you launch the business and get started, regardless of the fact it was 2020 and everything was all a bit crazy. Really a lot of kudos to you for, going ahead with something that you had obviously had on your mind for a while. So you actually have a background in accounting, don't you? This isn't just something new that you've started.
Yeah, because I've been doing Wealthfulness. I founded Wealthfulness, which is my other business, in 2017, and I was focused more on the accounting side of things and the measurements and I talk a lot about wealth mindset, but it all comes with also financial planning.
Yeah.
And all the things that I couldn't leave one with the other, and I was more drawn to the accounting, and that's how when I decided to do bookkeeping for wealth, it kind of like it just happened, but I knew that I had to do something different. That I needed more structure. I wanted it to be less than a hobby, more than a business.
Yeah.
So I joined Business Jam because I knew that the marketing strategies that I had implemented for Wealthfulness wasn't necessarily applicable to bookkeeping for wealth. To start with, it is a service-based business, and that's where I knew that you were the person to help me with this and to come up with the packages, to come out the whole strategy, the marketing strategy, and how I'm going to talk to my audience about it and what niche I want to go to. And I think that looking at the niche, even though as an accountant, you can work with anyone, but do I want to work with anyone? No, I don't really. I love online businesses. I love coaches. Those are the people I want to work with. And then you help me figure it out.
Yeah, you're so right. I think, something like accounting and my own personal experience as well with marketing, one of the reasons why I decided to go into it when I was back in being a teenager was I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I thought every business needs marketing. So I do that. I've got my bases covered. Then I can decide where I want to go into marketing, what sort. And I think likewise, you're saying with accounting, every business needs accounting. Every business can't run without their finances being managed. So that's such a challenge for probably anybody who's in a service that is so broad and can be provided to so many different types of companies, is just really figuring out how to niche down and how to find their spot that they want to be in the market so that they can create services and pricing that is relevant for their target customer. So you're saying you've niched down to online businesses and coaches, sort of consultant type businesses, is that right?
Yes. That, and I find fulfillment doing that because I speak the language. I understand those about energy, and when they come with but I can understand how can someone can combine both the business side of things to the coaching and energy side of things, because I do that as well in my business. Not necessarily coach to. I'm not a coach. I'm not considering myself a coach. I consider myself a consultant, if anything.
Yeah, but you're combining, I guess, some of those money mindset, issues that I guess a lot of business owners, especially when you're a solopreneur or you're the head of your business, and then you've got some contractors or VAs working for you. There are a lot of hang-ups around money and pricing and expenditure and fear about spending, especially when a business is in its first couple of years. But I think almost at any time, it's so true. So you being able to provide, I guess, insight on that side and coaching them on how to look at the finances in a way that is helpful and healthy, that's just so valuable, because it's so much more than actually just doing the accounts and doing the books, which is, kind of a bit more of an administrative task, isn't it?
Yes, and now that you talk about that mindset and the investment and everything, you hear online a lot of people talking like, you need to spend money to make money. Yes, you're absolutely right. But how much is the return in my investment? Spending money for the sake of spending money just to expect something in return is not. It's not one.
Yeah.
Take care of your money, and that's something that I that's how I say it, like taking care of your money. So money wants to spend time with you. You get comfortable with it. You do make smart decisions. You informed decisions.
Yeah.
It's not like I am just gonna spend 12 grand here because it's promised of.
Yeah.
How is it promised? You have the right to ask that, to evaluate your options and evaluate the way that is going to make an impact on your bottom line.
That is so true. And I think that one of the challenges a lot of us have as well is, say, when we come out of a corporate role and go into running our own business, we might be used to seeing expenses at a totally different level than what we maybe should be looking at for our own business, because, a micro business where it's literally you running it from home on your laptop is totally different to a big corporate. And, what they might spend on a new website where, I know that when I worked in corporate, some of the companies I worked for, they spent 25, 30 grand on a website easily and more. And then you think that is not a wise, that's not what I should be paying. That's not a wise expense for me as a solopreneur. So, really having a bit of a change of perspective and a change of that mindset around, well, what is that investment actually going to bring you, can make such a difference. And I love that you have that view, because I definitely am in tune with it. That was when I started my business. I was really, really careful, and what I spent the money on in the beginning, I definitely invested in it. I invested in getting to cash flow positive as fast as possible. So I invested in the tools that I needed in order to be able to operate and sell and deliver, and not the stuff that was kind of like the nice to have. So, for example, spending money on Facebook ads, not important when I knew that I only needed a small number of clients. So I could use my own time and invest my time in building connections and building a relationship and audience. It didn't even need to be a big one in order to be able to make a few sales and get a few clients on board. However, I did need a way for them to pay me, and I did need a way for me to deliver the service. So, you look at what are those smart investments. Sometimes you don't even need a website on day one. You literally can, you don't need that. So look at what is the minimum viable product. And then, you make investments from there, because you'll get to the next stage where you do need that next step. You do need the website, of course, every business does, but you don't necessarily need it on day one. And you definitely don't need one that costs you, 5 to 10 grand. You probably only need one that costs you 1 to 2, because you just need to get started. And once you've got the cash flow coming in, then you've obviously got the funding to grow your business further. So, yeah, I feel like your perspective on helping people to really see what's a great investment and what is going to be a wise spend when you're spending the money to make money. Is this actually going to help you make money? And it's probably the question that we should be asking more so than anything on that. And sometimes it's even in educational programs. I certainly know that when I've invested, $1,000 into a program that then helped me to generate $5,000, that's a no-brainer. Like, it sounds like a lot of money when you're early on to invest $1,000, but if it's then not even tripled, it's 5 times its value in what comes back, then that's a good investment. It's not so much when you don't make the money back, I guess. So that is great. So I guess I was wondering whether you could give us some tips, what you look at. So when you're looking at a business's finances and you're working for them, managing the books is kind of like your basic bookkeeping. But what do you do? What do you look for in the finances where you can help them to make some smarter decisions around how they're managing their money?
When I start with a bookkeeping, because I like to make sure that all transactions are recorded properly. Are recorded in the right way. And my main focus is to be as transparent to the business owner as I can possibly be, because I want the business owner to be able to look at the dashboard, and you can customize your dashboard to what is important in your business, and to run the report at any given time, just to that's how much I'm spending in that. This is my profit in XYZ product. How is the performance of your business? I start with that, and then I focus on what is improved, what can be improved. You can only know that when you already are a certain amount of time in business. Mm-hmm. I'm not keen in changing and change all the time, but always keep an eye in evaluate if there's a better way to do things. Yeah. And the first thing that I also do is to set up budget. Why setting up a budget? Because you have your target income, and you can see, then compare the variances. That's your ideal. Budget is not something that is going to limit you in any way or stress you. I'm not meeting my target. To see, or in the best way, when you reach a limit, when you have a threshold already 75K in revenue, you need to do a GST. So you also need a budget to make sure you're in compliance. But a budget will help you see where you're going. Am I doing this efficiently? Am I on track to meet my target? My expenses, can I save in this? Maybe that is an expense that I don't need right now. Can I invest in something else? It gives you like, it's like a thermometer, just where you are at. Yeah, identifying a lot of things, explaining variances. That's where I like to focus. That's where the last bit, because I think that's actually what makes the difference in between ticking a compliance box and really making your numbers talk.
Yeah. Do you think that there's any one thing that you see most commonly, when you come into a business or start assessing it? Is there a common thing that most people are missing or that they're not doing? What stands out to you?
It stands out that the account's not balanced, not breaking down the expense. The books are well done for ATO perspective, but not from management perspective.
Okay.
Not taking the consideration of how your numbers can help your business and to make your business profitable.
Yeah. So I guess for me, one of the things I've been thinking about is I've got a lot of different software expenses, which, obviously as your business goes through time, you tend to add new programs and new new services and things that you need and systems. But I definitely got to the point where I'm thinking, I think I need to consolidate some instead of keeping on adding new ones. Is there actually a solution out there that would help me to bundle a whole lot of these together, and it might be a lower cost overall than having them all separated? And, would that be also good operationally? Like, would that make it easier to manage? So that's something, I guess, that would be in my mind that, I know that I just don't have the time to sit there and analyze it and to figure out what the individual costs are of the systems and put it together and compare it to the alternatives out there. But would that be something that you would look for clues in, how much you're spending on the different software or technology, or how much you've been spending on consultants or on staff, where there might be some, I guess, levers that you could move or shift to increase profitability?
Yeah, that's sort of that question. So for me, it would be just you coming with that question to me. Can you tell me how much I spent in this, in having a hosting, having this website in my thing over this period of time, over a year, and I'm considering investing in this other thing. Oh, okay. So let's compare that. Let's compare costs. And because as business owners, we tend to grow. I don't have a membership right now, but I'm considering that in the future. Should I buy just a plugin, or should I engage a third party? Should I go for Teachable, and how much that's gonna cost? Those are the questions that looking at your numbers. Because adding things, you keep adding things. Oh yeah, I'm just going to next level of active campaign is up. They just pay it, and they just roll it over, and it's significantly higher. But what are my results? Are really because they're offering better landing pages, they're offering that and that, and that's my advantage. And actually, my business needs that. And for example, my business doesn't. I have another business, which is a magazine that has like 5,000 subscribers. And for me, active campaign, it's not worth to invest.
Yeah, because the return for that expense isn't enough, right?
Yeah, because it's not making it doesn't move the needle. Like, just, of course, the traffic, I need the traffic, but I can do it with a cheaper with Flowdesk.
Yeah.
And making it like that. But that depends on the business, that depends on, but because I don't need the other features.
Yes.
Okay. But so I always looking for better ways to do things. If I have a VA for that business, and is she making the difference between, before getting a VA, I analyzed the options and how much she should it's not only freeing my time, but it's actually the fact that it's getting published all the time, or versus, you have measurements.
Yes.
It all depends on the business.
Yeah. No, I remember with my first business, I did it on my own for about 7 years, I think. And I got to the 7th year and I thought, I was actually starting this one. And I thought, with a newborn baby, already a business, and in a new one, I don't have time for it all. And so I made a decision to bring on board like a VA kind of business manager for my other business, and to really give her pretty much almost the entire thing to run, with me doing very, very minimal amount on that. But I thought, if then her focus and her energy into that business means that the revenue and the profits are higher and they're more than what I'm paying her, then it's a really good decision, because and that's actually what happened. Like, since I brought her on, then the revenue jumped. I think it doubled in within a year, and increased again. And then I ended up selling the business because, I just thought, I actually don't want to focus on it. I want to focus on this one, and it was in really good shape. So, but that was an example of, it was really big to bring on someone and to pay them when, I didn't feel like the business was really in a place to have that. But it just meant that it freed up my time completely, and the business actually became more profitable and could afford to pay for that person. So, that was a really good investment, which I guess it's about figuring out what you project it to be able to do. Like, what are the projections? We never know, do we? Exactly. But you can project, well, what's the potential? What would be a realistic expectation that we might generate from this investment? And I definitely do things like that when I look at, if I've got an idea for a new program, or, I look at, well, what would that potentially be worth? What is it required for me to invest in it to make it happen? And what's the potential outcome? And then I fast track the ones that I think have got the best potential and, or return on investment, I suppose. So certainly, I know that with some, it's different types of investment you need to make, but I look at, well, what are the ones that are going to make the biggest impact to my overall bottom line, and one might have a bigger investment, but if the return on that investment is much, much bigger as well, then I'd rather be spending the money and getting the bigger return than not doing it because of, the expense. So valuable to have that insight, I think.
Yeah, I've done in that sense. So I've seen a lot of people asking, what is better, Etsy, WordPress, or Shopify? Which one should I go for? Or selling on eBay? It depends on the business as well. But you can run all your costs, and depends on your products. You probably Etsy will find to be the most cost effective than any other. But the thing is, that's only one part of the whole business. You need to drive whatever your platform is.
Yeah.
You just need to drive the sales and make sure, in the case of Etsy, you may have more competition, and now you are able to pay for ads, and that you have those features. So you have more competitors, but probably it's more effective. Are you willing to pay for ads? How much of ads are going to return?
That's right. So important to look at the bigger picture, isn't it? Like, how does this fit in to everything else that I'm doing? And what does it mean? Like, what else do I need to invest in or take on board to actually leverage this opportunity and make it worthwhile? Because I totally agree. And that's some of the things that I look at when I'm choosing what technology platform to use, for Business Jam. I spent ages looking at all the different learning platforms that were for courses and memberships. And I knew that I wanted one that would work for both, so that I could have my Momentum Club and Business Jam and my smaller masterclasses all on the one platform to make it easier. So, I did narrow it down, but the one I chose definitely was not the cheapest one out in the market, but I chose it because it allowed me to not need to purchase other platforms for some other things that I also needed, like shopping cart functionality. There was other investments that I was saving on not making by choosing this solution. So I sort of looked at the overall business and what that return would be for me on it to make that choice. Yeah, which is really good. So now talking, I guess, more broadly as well about, business growth and investments. In your own experience from launching 3 businesses, what has been your biggest learning?
My biggest learning? So many with those years. You know what? The biggest one is that you have to give time for your strategy to enough time for your strategy to work. And because everyone out there is showing you the best way to make money online. That's not best way. Best way. That's only your way, and it will respond to the strategy. So don't change until you know for sure that doesn't work. And give it enough time.
Yes, I totally agree with that. There's so many different things you can do, but the way everybody will do them will work differently because we're all different. We've got different customers. We ourselves are different. So, how it comes across, how we use it, it's going to work differently for everyone. And I see so many people kind of wanting that magic pill or the blueprint, like just tell me how many times a day I need to post. It's like, well, it doesn't work like that. Like what your audience wants is not the same as what someone else's audience wants. So you can't just go and copy someone else's method. You actually need to stop looking at the tactics and dial back to your strategy and really look at, how do I align the pieces of my strategy so that they work together in harmony? And then I choose the right tactics to get out there, and you then do what works well for you. And certainly that's a bit about trying it out to see what works, but you've got such a better chance of knowing what's going to be the right ones if you've spent a little bit of time on your strategy first. So yeah, I think that is a really, really great tip. Absolutely. Is there anything that you would do differently next time? Like if there is a next time, you've got 3 businesses. If business number 4 comes around, would you do it differently?
Getting into business jam earlier.
Thank you.
Yes, investing in something that looks at my business as a whole business, not just focusing in just the one thing, and definitely not spending so much time in growing my social media.
You were telling me you had quite a different experience with Wealthfulness and Bookkeeping for Wealth. Do you want to tell everybody else what you experienced with that?
Well, actually, it's everything is learning. It's not that I made a mistake. I focused too much in my social media, and I grew it to 4,000 people. I was following someone else's strategy, and it didn't work. It didn't work out. Probably I didn't do it well but so I thought, you know what? I remember coming to you and said, don't make me go and post social media. I just don't want to do it. I was such a rebel with wealthfulness in social media that I dedicated a whole year just to improve SEO. And that's what's bringing now it's bringing traffic, and it's bringing that wealthfulness. But I have 4 followers, 4. In probably a little bit more now, but in Bookkeeping for Wealth.
Yeah.
Actually, I recovered my investments in business down in 2.5 months.
Wow. Yeah.
After starting, it's just starting because it's starting like slowly. Just want to make sure that my workflows are still perfecting, still doing that, but so yeah, it's just a matter of doing testing your strategy.
Yeah.
One, and what works for you. It's just if it doesn't, don't force it. It's just there's no one way to do things.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's so true. Like I see so much focus going on, social media follows and engagement and all of these metrics, and I'm like, that's all great, but that doesn't mean that that's revenue and dollars coming into your business. So if that's what does generate the revenue and dollars, fantastic, then you definitely need to be tracking it. But if you're doing it and there's nothing happening, then stop focusing on those metrics, because it's not what's working for your business. You need to go back and look at what is actually going to make a difference. And, you've just proven so well, 4,000 followers. Then you found that doing SEO actually generated a lot more revenue for Wealthfulness, and only having 4 followers on Bookkeeping for Wealth, but already making back all your investment in setting it up and in the program, the coaching that you did within the first 2 months. I mean, that is just such a huge comparison. It really shows you that there is a massive disconnect between, it's not all about how many followers you have on social media. Like, absolutely, it's a great part of marketing, and it is part of, how you then grow your audience and how you find new people. But you don't need a big audience to make money. And I think that that's where so many people spend so much time just thinking they need this huge audience before they can get out there. And you've just shown that you don't at all. You can get out there and sell before you have a big audience, especially when you're doing something starting off with a one-to-one. I think when you know what you're trying to sell, a group or a program, it's more about a volume. You need the numbers. So you probably need to have a little bit more of an audience. But you've just shown that you can do it even with 4. So it's amazing. So it's not necessarily about that. It's about a whole lot more other things. So probably your network and, you being obviously connected in with a lot of people in business through being in business yourself for so long. There's other ways of reaching people that you don't need to be, punishing yourself on posting on social media every day.
Yeah, of course, the business models are different. And actually, the business models of my 3 businesses are different.
Yeah.
So you need to be clear on your business model. You need to be clear on your numbers, and I think that makes a difference. Just knowing your numbers with Wealthfulness, knowing knowing where to focus, just by looking at the conversion, looking at the numbers, looking at the impact of those metrics in my analytics, the insights in Facebook and Instagram into my financials.
Yes, exactly. I think that's such an important point. So, really understanding what do those numbers mean. Is it good or is it not good? You might be looking at your, the accounts and thinking, okay, well, I can see all the numbers in there, but how do I know if I'm tracking well or good? And I think that comes down to what you were saying before about having a budget. So what is next? Like, what are you focusing on for Bookkeeping for Wealth? Like, what's next? Or do you have something that you could leave us with today?
Yeah, my soul is budgeting, forecasting, and because it makes such a difference. So I have in my website, bookkeepingforwealth.com, a free template that people can download, and it has some accounts that people can start looking at and see their financials differently.
Yeah, great. I think I need that. I'm like, go and download it myself. So we can download it on bookkeepingforwealth.com.
Yes.
Okay. I think that sounds great. So I'll make sure that I've got the link to that below the video. And if people want to connect with you and join your page, and then we'll have more than 4 followers, although I think you have more than that now anyway. But how can they find you otherwise online? So on Facebook or LinkedIn or where?
I'm yet to be started in LinkedIn. Instagram, Facebook. Even though I don't have many followers, I'm a regular. I check my Facebook a couple of times, and on my website we have I have a direct WhatsApp widget that you just text me through WhatsApp, and there's all my contact details. I'm a tech. I'm always connected to everything.
Aren't we all these days? That's so true. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Claudia. I think you have given us a lot of interesting insights into, what we could be doing better with our businesses, or, just, I guess, the intel that we can find from our finances that can help us make better decisions. There's certainly some tips that I have written down that I'm going to be taking away with me and looking at. So thank you very much for your time and for sharing it with us.
Don't worry. Thank you so much. And people, remember that your numbers talk and pay and give you a story.
Yes, the numbers are talking a language. We need to dial into it. Not a language that I have listened to very much before. So thank you, Claudia. It's been a real pleasure having you in Business Jam and helping you to launch and grow your new business. So can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Okay, bye.
Hey, it's Jessica here. So I've got a bit of a truth bomb for you. And this is the reality of pretty much every single person who's ever worked in marketing and communications. We're pretty great at marketing other people's or brands, products and services, but terrible at marketing ourselves. Am I right? So I had major struggles with this in my corporate days. It was like, how could they not see the value we're bringing to the business? The sales team doesn't even have to do anything to sign a new client because our marketing is so awesome. But I didn't know how to explain it, how to identify and promote our value. And to be honest, I avoided doing this kind of promotion in fear of being seen as some big-headed, arrogant, salesy person. So it's not really all that surprising that self-promotion is the biggest struggle for us when we head into business for ourselves, is it? We all know that we need to have effective marketing to attract 5-star clients, be able to sell premium services so that, you have the easy, thriving business where you can work just the hours you want. But how can you expect to attract those 5-star clients if you don't know your unique value and how to align your service offering so that you stand out to them as the obvious choice? When you're stuck in the freelancer zone, hiring out your time by the hour to the highest bidder, and, let's be honest, most of the time just taking whatever soul-sucking work comes along and pricing it so low, you're a million miles away from achieving the earnings that you could get. Then you're costing yourself the opportunity to be not only inspired and excited by your work on a daily basis, but also finally becoming a respected authority in your market where you have a consistent stream of 5-star clients lining up to work with you. Now, building authority and aligning your service offering around your unique value is the easiest way to stand out and be the obvious choice for those 5-star clients so that you can achieve the thriving business where you're working less and earning more. Look around you. Did the mentors that you look up to get to the top of the market by being the low-cost leader, churning out high volumes of low-price service? Of course not. They know their value, and their one-to-one service is a premium offering. Sure, they might offer some low-cost digital products, but they've got a service model designed to maximize profit with their minimal time of theirs invested. So I'm ready to dish it all up for you on a plate. Join me for my free 3-part live series. It's called Master Your Marketing, and you'll discover the 5 ingredients to aligning your message and your offering around your unique value so that you're working with 5-star clients, attracting them easily, growing profits, and ultimately enjoying real flexibility in your life to spend time doing whatever matters most to you. Head over to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing to register now and make sure that you don't miss out on this live series. I'm so excited. I absolutely cannot wait to bring it to you. When I ran this last year, I had people saying comments like, wow, light bulbs are going off. I love this. And, you've given me so much to think about. So you don't want to miss this. Master Your Marketing is starting on the week of 20th of February. So mark your calendars right now and make sure you register. The place to register again is jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing. And get in there and register. Even if it's already started, you can still register. You can still get access to the replays, to the workbook, and get involved in the whole series. It's happening for the whole week and it's going to be amazing. So make sure you've got it in your calendar. Mark it right now. 20th of February, that's the Sunday, so that week of is when this live series is running. And I really can't wait to get involved with you. It's going to be interactive. There'll be lots of fun. So come and join me online and let's master your marketing this year.